Hello and welcome. Jenny Hall here for Honeybee Stamps. I have a very fun tri-fold card to share with you today. I'm going to be stamping with No Probllama stamp set from Honeybee Stamps. And I'm also going to be using the Square Windows Trio dies. There's 3 different stitch squares in the set. I'm starting off with 2 card bases, or you could call them note cards, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 after they're folded. And I'll show you exactly how we're going to put them together. The first thing I'm going to create is a card front that has an ink blend all over the whole front. So the first thing I did was to take a piece of Post-it tape, and the Post-it tape and the Distress Oxide inks are all available in the Honeybee store. If you didn't know that you can get much more than stamps and embellishments from Honeybee, then check it out. You can get a lot of general supplies from Honeybee Stamps. I'm adding 2 colors together. This is Scattered Straw and Wild Honey, and kind of making them meet in a diagonal blend. These colors are so close together that having a natural blend kind of reminds me of a natural shadow of a building, or just kind of a natural fade between the two. And so I thought these colors complemented each other very well. And then peel back that Post-it, and then I put a little bit of water droplets to pick up and give a little bit of variance, and then make sure that I allowed everything to dry. So now I'm going to die cut those 3 little window areas, and what my idea of the card is to have a tri-fold and have it be where you lift the card front and you see something behind it, and then you open it up and there's even something else. And I just couldn't resist making this llama into like a peekaboo, kind of like a surprise. So in order to do the ink blending on the next portion, I popped those die cuts back into place and am going to use some more of the Post-it tape and mask off an area that I don't need to add any ink blending to the full panel here. It's not necessary. I could do it, but I thought it would be nice just to have it in a certain area, just enough to where it would span a tiny bit above and a tiny bit below the window openings. I'm using Tumbled glass, Distress Oxide ink, and am going to use Salty Ocean to kind of give a little bit of peppering. I use the term peppering. I don't know that it's the right term, but it's kind of like ink splatters. And what I did was I dabbed the ink pad to a clear block and used a water brush to splatter that onto the area. And once it's dry, then, the sky is not just one solid color. It is kind of mottled. So this will give that look. So now we're going to add some really fun images. I decided not to have the llama on the second panel of the card, but instead to save him for the inside of the card, which means that I have some other options that I want to put on the second panel. That's after you lift the front flap, then this is what we're going to see, and it'll peek through the window. So I'm stamping on just some heavy white cardstock with Memento Tuxedo Black dye ink so that I can use the Copic markers. All of the Copics that I used are listed on screen if you want to follow along with the colors. They're also listed in the video description, along with links to all the products in the Honeybee store, including cardstock. I get my Nina cardstock from Honeybee as well. So I'm keeping the coloring relatively simple, knowing that that full cactus is not going to be seen through that small little square window. So I'm just coloring up a portion of the cactus. Very easy coloring. And I don't have the dies for this set. I didn't choose to get them. I usually do get the dies for most of the stamp sets, but this one I didn't. And so I just took a few minutes and fussy cut everything. And because I fussy cut them right along that black line, then I chose to use the broad end of a marker and just run along the edge to give them a finished look. I discovered that the window opening was just the right size to be able to place my greeting through the window. And how fun is that? So it says hola, and I thought this would be a really fun card to send a friend. It's going to be kind of like a surprise where it looks like there's just a regular card, but then it's very obvious that you lift it up and you just see something, and it's going to be these fun little fussy cut pieces. And then I made sure that it's going to be very easy to know where to open the third flap too. So I'm using some double-sided foam adhesive just to take these images and place them to where they're going to be seen through the window. And now we're going to add the llama. So the idea of this card was to use the llama, but I didn't want to use the llama just on the card front. For some reason, I wanted it to be a surprise. And it is definitely going to be something that you don't see from the inside. But something you might not know about me is that I am in love with llamas. I love everything llama. My best friends know that when they see a llama, they're like, oh, they tell Jenny about the llama. And I think they're just adorable. They're sweet. They look very playful, but I don't know. I just love llamas. They're so cute. And my kids do not share my love of llamas. I'm so disappointed by it. I think llamas are the best, and they're not impressed. They're 6 and 9 years old, so maybe when they get a little bit older, then they will love llamas as much as Mommy does. So I'm just using some easy Copic colors and keeping it very neutral so that I can color in very basic. Once I have everything colored in, then I'm going to use a gray marker to go around the edge, and that's going to give me a shadow for the llama, kind of like a drop shadow, and that way the llama will not look as if it's just flat on the paper quite as badly. Not that that's a bad thing, it just is not the idea that I saw in my mind. So let's put this trifold card together. I'm using some tape runner and putting it, you can definitely see that it's the back side, and I'm adhering, and I did take away a very small portion of the length of the card so that when I fold it up, it's not going to push one side versus the other. I hope that makes sense. I trimmed it down about 1/8 of an inch so that everything will fit really nicely. And then I'm using some of the rhinestone jewels from the Honeybee Stamp Store and my Nuvo Smooth Precision glue pen, which is so perfect to add just a tiny little piece of glue, perfect for sequins, with a Marvy jewel picker. Really easy. And here's the finished card. And it's a llama and it's trifold. It's unexpected. I hope you like it. Thanks for joining us today, and we'd love to connect with you on Facebook and on Instagram.